I took 6 months off of CrossFit between October of last year and April of this year. And here's what I learned. Now, the reason I took time off was because I sprained my knee doing this. I'm actually not going to show the end of that video because I don't want to end up on a CrossFit fails compilation. So you can just infer what happened. So I sprained my MCL and my knee was good again about a month after that. But for some reason, I just mentally kind of wanted to just take the time off. I've been doing CrossFit since 2019 for no other reason than I just wanted to. I just stopped doing CrossFit. The first thing I learned was within about a week, I realized I am addicted to exhaustion and or sweating. So I started spending every other day in the sauna because going a day without sweating or feeling some sort of like physical exhaustion was driving me crazy. And it was weird for me to realize that I'm addicted to that feeling because it's kind of like a weird thing to be addicted to. And what's funny is I think a lot of CrossFitters feel that way too. The second thing I learned pretty quickly is that without doing CrossFit, I just didn't need to eat. When I'm doing CrossFit, I eat 2 or 3 pretty big meals every day, and I feel like I'm constantly having to eat and constantly hungry. And then when I stopped doing CrossFit, it was like I would eat 1 medium-sized meal per day, and that was it. I was literally just eating at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then I wouldn't eat again until 4 o'clock the next day, and I just never felt hungry. Over the last 6 years, I've gotten used to eating like so much food, and without doing CrossFit, I just didn't eat at all. The next thing I learned is how much fitter I really am than people. So since I started CrossFit, I haven't played a lot of team sports or just sports outside of doing CrossFit. Like that's kind of become my main form of exercise. But when I stopped doing CrossFit, I needed to find something to fill that time and fill that void of being physically active. And what I ended up doing was playing a lot of pickup basketball, and I started playing rugby for a men's team. And what I realized is just how much insanely fitter CrossFitters are than anyone else. Like you can have a good rugby player, like a fit rugby player, and there's just levels to it. Like CrossFitters, even like a mediocre CrossFitter like myself, is just that much fitter than a really fit rugby player or a really fit basketball player. I don't mean to sound like I'm tooting my own horn. I'm really just kind of tooting the horn of CrossFit. Like it's crazy the levels there are to fitness and how CrossFit really is the pinnacle of that. And I don't think I realized it because I've spent so much time just doing CrossFit and I'm not like that fit of a guy in CrossFit. But then when I go outside, it's eye-opening. The next and probably I think most interesting thing that I learned from not doing CrossFit was how little I cared about CrossFit, the sport. When I stopped doing CrossFit, my desire to watch CrossFit competitions, to keep up with CrossFit drama, anything like that completely just withered away so fast. The second I stopped doing CrossFit, it was like any workout that came out for a competition, I was like, I don't care. Like because I'm not doing them, because I'm not doing CrossFit, I don't know what it was. And I think part of it is relatability. Like if I'm going to do those workouts, a lot of workouts that end up getting announced for the games or Rogue or whatever, I do some version of them. So I think some of it was kind of just relatability. If I see those workouts and I'm not doing CrossFit, I have no tie to them at all. It's just like, oh, okay, that's a workout. Another thing was, I think because of that, I just kind of stopped caring about the drama. I wasn't in the CrossFit gym a lot. It just kind of like fell away almost. It was like, and it was pretty interesting to see how quickly that desire or interest just kind of disappeared when I stopped doing CrossFit. The last things I learned happened when I started going back to doing CrossFit. And this was one of the most interesting things to me, and that is that CrossFit fitness really doesn't leave you. I came back from basically just playing basketball, soccer, and rugby for 6 months, and my CrossFit fitness was like still there. The first workout really messed me up. Like physically, I was really sore, but I still had the capacity to do stuff. And then after like a week, I was able to just full on basically be at the same level of fitness I was 6 months earlier, which was really interesting. It was especially interesting because when I was younger, when I would come back into the football season or the wrestling season or the rugby season or whatever, I feel like the beginning of the season was so hard to always get your conditioning back. But it was funny because I don't feel like it was that hard with CrossFit. Like my fitness kind of just stayed. And I don't know if it's just because now I have 6 years of CrossFit training just built into kind of my body or whatever, but it was interesting to come back and just basically be at full capacity right as I came back after 6 months off. Another thing that was interesting was after 6 months, you would have thought that I would have maybe lost some of my weight or something, but 6 months and I was still 195, and like I didn't lose any muscle, I don't think, and I was pretty much just the same after 6 months of coming back. I'm actually glad I did it. I think it was cool to do and kind of revived my spirit for CrossFit a little bit when I got back into doing it. Probably the most interesting thing was how addicted I am to that feeling of exhaustion. I really don't like to finish my day without at some point having done something that just makes me feel like I need to just roll around on the floor and die for 10 minutes. Like if I don't do something like that, I almost feel like my day's not complete. Anyway, if you've ever taken any time off of CrossFit, let me know what you realized or kind of things you learned from doing it in the comments. Peace.